can't believe that's the same game.
There it is.
So this is my 3DS XL. And before we go any further, I need to tell you why this specific 3DS is so important to me. I gotta tell you why it matters, because it's not just a console I bought. It was a console that was given to me as a gift. Valentine's Day. It was either 2014 or 2015. I can't remember, but it was at least 10 years ago, which makes me feel super old, which is always great. But me and my fiancé were saving up for our wedding. And oh, by the way, your old buddy Zoo had just shelled out a lot of money from his savings account on a little bling bling ring for the missus, which, worth it, but still, I was trying to cut back on my finances. So I basically wasn't buying anything for myself for a while. No new games, no new hardware, definitely no new consoles. And I was trying to be fiscally responsible, which is not my natural state. Now, I had been playing Fire Emblem since Game Boy Advance, and I even started to go on the computer and find the old Japanese games, and those translations back then, they were roof stoof. But I loved the series, I played the heck out of them, and I knew that Awakening had come out a year or two before, and I just hadn't pulled the trigger on a new 3DS. So Valentine's Day rolls around, and my fiancée, who's now my wife, she agreed to marry me despite everything, despite all of this. My fiancé at the time handed me this big pink bag that had hearts on it. It had like sparkly pink tissue paper coming out of it. And I kind of looked at her like, what the heck is this? But I ripped up all the tissue paper and I reached inside and I pulled out this very 3DS XL. Get in there, stylus. It's starting to show its age. She got it randomly from Target. It was on sale. And you know what was underneath it? Fire Emblem Awakening, the very game that I had been craving for 2, maybe 3 years at that point. Yeah, this is probably my favorite Valentine's gift of all time. Well, second favorite, because I did have our youngest daughter. She was born right before Valentine's Day, but I guess the hospital was involved. They kind of scooped the whole present aspect of it. But as far as non-living humans with souls, this is my favorite Valentine's Day present, because my wife gave it to me. And I treasure it, and I played the hell out of it. You can see it's got some creaky hinge, it's got some scuffs, some well-earned wear and tear, and it's covered in love, particularly the sticker, Buckeye Love. I don't know where I got this from, but it's been through the wars. It's seen the elephant. It's one of my favorite games of all time, on one of my favorite gifts of all time. And so what I'm about to tell you isn't me trashing the 3DS. It's just kind of telling you how good the alternative is. Let's be clear about something here. There is nothing wrong with Fire Emblem Awakening on a 3DS. The game is a masterpiece regardless of what you play it on, but this handheld came out in 2012. Ugh. It has a 240p screen. Ugh. Your front-facing camera on your phone probably takes pictures 5-6 times sharper than this screen. And for years, none of that mattered. You didn't notice because there was nothing to compare it to. The game looked the way the game looked, and you loved it because the art design and the character design just carried everything through. Intelligent Systems actually did incredible work considering the constraints, but there's stuff you can't art direct around. The map view textures are muddy. The character models during battle are just okay. I mean, they're fine, but they've got like a softness to them, like you smeared Vaseline across the lens, like one of them Instagram filters from 2013. And then you got quality of life stuff, and here's where it gets personal, because I'm not in my mid to late 20s anymore. I don't have 4-hour blocks to grind my B team, because I got kids, I got a wife, I got a house that's trying to fall apart, I got appliances that are trying to catch on fire, I got a job. I have no free time outside of little chunks. And on the 3DS here, if I'm in the middle of a battle and I have to close the lid because someone needs me and I'm a dad, so I have kids who always need me, even for things they can do themselves, like opening up a cheese stick. Come on! I close the lid, and that's it. It puts it into sleep mode. It doesn't save my game. It puts it into sleep mode, and it's okay for a couple hours, but if I put this down and forget about it for 2 days, I turn it on and it's dead. And there goes my game. There goes my battle. There goes my save. You can't fast forward through enemy phases. There's a quick save option, but it's not super great, and you end up not using it a lot. So when Crom dies on turn 14 of a 20-turn battle, more often than not, you have to restart to your last in-between battle save. It's fine if you got nothing but time. I don't got nothing but time. I literally have everything but time. The 3DS just kind of gives you the game as is, which is purest and noble and sometimes really annoying. They acknowledged it. They eventually put in rewind options, but not for Awakening here, not for one of my favorite Fire Emblem games. So here's the part where your old buddy Zoo shows you what happens when you take a 2012 masterpiece and you give it 2026 hardware in a community that refuses to let great games be limited by the consoles they launched on. You're getting 3 upgrades. Each one of them will make the game better, but you stack all 3 on top of each other, it's not even close, brother. First up, resolution. The 3DS runs Awakening at 400 by 240 on the top screen. The Thor, if you're running Azahar, you can push that to 3, 4, even 5 times native resolution if you're messing with turnip drivers. And the difference is extremely stark. You can watch it here with your own eyes. Do you see those character models in battle? On the 3DS, they're serviceable. But on the Thor at 3x at 4x resolution, you can see the detail that Intelligent Systems actually modeled. There's fabric texture on the clothes. I never knew that. The hair has some motion to it. You don't see that on the 3DS. And then the particle effects during critical hits, they were always there. The designers made them. You just couldn't really see them because of the limitations of the original hardware. And on a 6-inch AMOLED in a dark room, come on. The blacks are inky, the colors pop. The levels of contrast make the 2D character art look like it was painted yesterday. It is a gorgeous game that was trapped in a 240p prison for far too long, but now it's free. Upgrade 2, Emulator quality of life features. And this is the one that really impacts me because it makes it so I can finish these games in a reasonable amount of time in my extremely limited free time between my full-time job, being a dad, partially running this channel as a side hobby. I got a lot of plates in the air, and I do appreciate a good quality of life feature, especially when there's a bunch. You got fast forward, you got quick save. I'll tell you about them here. So fast forward. This thing has the overhead to speed up the emulator at 300% speed. So when it's the enemy phase and 12 units are moving around and attacking you and you're just sitting there waiting, fast forward, you're done. What used to be a minute and a half is now 20 seconds. And I know you can always press start and just skip that whole movement phase, but I like to watch it. I like to know where the units are going so I'm not surprised when someone's surrounded. And look, I know people are going to say, oh, it's cheating. Oh, it's not the way the game was supposed to be played. And yeah, maybe on your first playthrough, you can play it on the original hardware or don't use those features. But this is like my 30th, maybe 40th playthrough. I've beaten it on normal, I've beaten it on hard, I've gotten pretty close on lunatic, but it just gets frustrating and mean. I've done the DLCs, I paid for the DLCs on my 3DS. I've paid my dues. I want to be able to play it how I want to play it now. And then there's save states. You got your quick save and your quick load, mid-battle, mid-turn, anytime you want. And before the permadeath purists come for me, I usually play classic mode. I mean, the threat of losing a unit is what makes Fire Emblem Fire Emblem. But I also, if I do lose a unit, I restart the entire map. So, sometimes casual mode just makes more sense if I'm playing to have fun and not playing to, like, extreme challenge. Because there's a legitimate difference between I lost long queue on turn 18 and I gotta restart the whole damn map, and I lost long queue on turn 18 and I can just reload to turn 16 to try to figure out what went wrong, like Sam from Quantum Leap. That's not cheating. That's respecting my time. I got kids, I got a job, I got all sorts of stuff going on. Respect my time, video game, and I will respect you. And yeah, the original game did have in-battle saves, but you only got 2, and you had to go through a bunch of menus. On the Thor, I just press down L3 and it does a quick save. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And speaking of that, being able to remap controls is super cool. I got my L3 as my quick save. I have my R3 as my fast forward. I don't have to go into nested menus. I can speed things up. If things look a little bit dicier, I say, you know what? If this guy crits me, I'm gone. Quick save. Easy. I don't feel embarrassed by it because I've beaten the game dozens of times. I'm just trying to have a fun experience. I'm taking advantage of the technology. Especially since that same technology is now standard in all Fire Emblem games. Now, the reason I'm playing Awakening now, and I don't need a reason, I play it all the time, but the specific reason I'm playing it now is that it won somehow. Hope against hope. It won Game of the Month. I nominated it, everyone voted for it, and we're playing it. And I decided, this is a special playthrough. Let's make it special. Let's find some HD texture packs. And that's what made me make this video, because upscaling's fine, but HD texture packs, it's like a brand new game. It's like I'm playing a Switch game or a Switch 2 game. It's amazing. I'll show you. This is Amateur Awakening HD. It's a community-made texture pack that replaces the original textures in Fire Emblem Awakening with handcrafted, high-resolution versions. We're talking character models, map, UI, even the portraits, the cutscenes. It's all just beautiful. So here we have upscaled without the texture pack versus upscaled with the texture pack. They're both at 4x. Do you see the difference? Upscaling makes things sharper, but you're still working with the original textures, just rendered at a higher resolution. The texture pack actually replaces these textures with new detailed versions. It's like the difference between watching a DVD on a 4K TV versus watching an honest-to-God 4K remaster. On the one hand, the software does a little bit of upscaling and it looks better, but the remaster is remastered. It's designed to look like this. It's designed to be Super HD. And that's what this texture pack is. The map tiles go from, yeah, I think that's grass, to actually looking like terrain you want to send your army across. The character models gain definition and detail that makes them feel like they belong on modern hardware. It feels like a Switch 2 game. And the UI, the menus, the stat screens, the battle forecast, everything gets crisper, more readable, just more beautiful. Now you're probably wondering, how do I install all of this, Zoo? And don't worry, I'll show you. Step 1, you need a copy of Fire Emblem Awakening. Just dump the ROM from your cartridge. An older boy once told me you can find the ROMs already dumped on the internet, but I don't know anything about that. I wouldn't know where to find them. Step 2, download the Amateur Awakening HD texture pack. I'll put the link in the description, and the community maintains it. It gets updated periodically. So when you go on there, just grab the latest version. When I grabbed it, I think there were 3 files, and I just downloaded it directly to my Thor. It was maybe like 3.5 gigabytes. Not a big deal. Step 3, in Azahar, Citra, or whatever 3DS emulator you're using, you go into the settings, you find your custom textures folder, and you drop the texture pack files in there. Folder structure matters, so follow any instructions you get with the pack. It'll tell you exactly where everything goes. Step 4, you enable custom textures in the emulator settings. There's usually just a toggle, you flip it on, boot the game, and you're done. That's it. 4 steps, and your copy of Awakening just went from a 2012 handheld game to something that looks like it could have launched last year. The community did this, not Nintendo. The fan community did this for free because they love this game as much as you do. So here's the question you're probably asking yourself. Should you ditch the 3DS? Absolutely not. The 3DS is a beautiful piece of hardware with one of the best gaming libraries in the history of gaming. The dual screens, the clamshell design, Street Pass, well, I guess Street Pass is dead, but the memory lives on. Everything about it was unique, it was cool, and it's something you should treasure. And for a first playthrough of Awakening, there's something special about playing it on the original hardware. The way the map's on the top screen and your info's on the bottom, and it's all just easy to use. The way you can actually touch the bottom screen and get information. That's cool. It was built for this device, and it works on this device. And plus, sometimes 3DSs were Valentine's Day gifts you got a long time ago, and you still treasure them to this very day. You still keep the cord around, plug it in every once in a while, charge it up to make sure it doesn't go bad, and play an hour or 2 of your old favorite games. I got a whole case of my favorite 3DS games here. It's beat to crap, but it's well worn, it's loved. It's a very valuable present, and I still appreciate my wife for giving it to me. But for a replay in 2026, when you've already experienced the game the right way, and you just want to see it at its absolute best, the Thor with upscaling, quality of life features, and of course the Amateur Awakening HD texture pack, it's the definitive way to play this game right now, and it's not even close. Oh, watch out. And here's the thing, this isn't just about Awakening. The same approach works for a lot of popular 3DS games. You're talking Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Pokemon Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun. They all have really cool HD packs. It's basically the same process. And any of these games where the art team did such an amazing job with 240p screens, I think you owe it to yourself to try to experience it in full, glorious, beautiful HD. The 3DS library is one of the greatest in gaming history, and Emulation isn't replacing it, it's preserving it. It's making sure these games don't get stuck in 2012 while everything else moves inexorably forward. Intelligent Systems actually made a game that was much better than its hardware, but the hardware has finally caught up. Well, Gary, the clock on the wall says it's time for What Did We Learn? And we learned that a 240p screen was hiding a beautiful game. We learned that fast forward isn't cheating. It's called being a responsible adult with limited free time. We learned that the modding community will do what Nintendo don't and release a high quality HD pack for a very old game and all for free. And we learned that some 3DSs are treasured gifts and we will never give them up, not without the fight of our lives. If you've got a 3DS that you love, tell me about it. If you got a 3DS game you love, tell me about it. Just leave a comment. I know you will. And if you want that game to get the same treatment as Fire Emblem Awakening here, let me know. Because I got a whole bunch of 3DS games here, and I got a Thor that's just raring to get to work. If you thought this video was raring to get to work, I don't know what that means. Remember to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that jazz. You know what to do. It's 2026, for God's sakes. You know how to subscribe to a YouTube channel. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.